well. So I gotta say that it's getting a little weird out there in the news space, and I'm gonna do a discussion on all of that, but not on this stream, I don't think. But we're acknowledging that there's all of these drones. We're acknowledging there's weird fog, chemical. It's a chemical fog, dude. They're using some sort of chemistry to make that. Who is they? We're not sure yet. We're not sure yet. Oh shit. We're not sure yet. I may end the stream right here and just I don't know. We're not sure yet what's going on. I got to do the stream differently. I got to go through. I can't do this. I'm too keyed up right now thinking about it all. Do you have your shit together, IRL? Do you have any kind of backup supplies of any kind? You know what I'm saying? I'm not selling a fucking thing, dude. I'm not selling nothing. I'm just saying you should go, and however you do it, get your shit ready. I should game, but I'm going to terminate this stream, break open my cell phone, aim it at my TV and some YouTube shit, and I need to talk about drones, weird-ass fog. WW-twa. We're in it. Like, we've been in it. I don't know who the historians are going to be, you know, after the dust settles, and who's going to write it. But history should go back and go, yeah, it was 2020. That was the beginning. That was the opening fucking volley on America by China. And we're not just talking about the Fauci sauce, the Fauci flu. I'm talking about the fucking coup of the American government. I am talking about the Chinese government. Dude, I'm getting chills. Taking over our country illegally through influence and covert means, and people within the American government that were complicit, that assisted that. And now, like, dude, the shit, I don't breathe the fucking fog. It's a dry run, dude. Imagine the fog full. Deadly pathogens. Imagine the fog full. Harsh, life-taking chemicals. You know? Just everything is chlorine gas. Mustard gas. They could just pop up the drones out of submarines. Whirl them into your space. Dump pathogens and chemicals. I'm just saying, what kind of a fucking world are we in right now? And we're in it's going to be more apparent, I think. It's not a traditional shits, you know, I mean like Ukraine. I would say that's kind of traditional, right? The way war has traditionally been done has been like Ukraine, right? And actually Ukraine's kind of new because there's a lot of there's new technologies that were every battle space, there's always new tech, right? It's like the warmongers need the battles to go out and put their new tech in and see how the tech stacks up against other tech, and you know what I mean? It's always like that. You remember that Star Trek episode where it was Next Generation Picard, and they were on this planet, but it was like a weapon salesman demo, right? And the weapons got smarter and ultimately killed everybody there. The only thing left was the robot salesman, the robot weapon salesman, and we're approaching that shit now, dude. The fucking, oh my God, the manifesto from the Tesla truck driver in Las Vegas, Leibelsberger, right? Leibelsberger. He sent that email to like a military, other military, and then they had it on the Sue's podcast last night. Literally, his and this is out now, so this can't get covered or whatever. The dude was taught. The dude that drove, allegedly, the dude that drove the thing says that the drones are gravitic propulsion. Like he said, and China and the U.S. are the only countries that have access and are utilizing gravitic propulsion systems. Dude, this sounds like a Star Trek episode. And that the drones on the East Coast are China, that they're popping up off of subs, that they've been doing it for some time, and it's just to show that they can do it, that they've got this capacity. Now, if that was the case, I can't see why my U.S. government wouldn't be shooting them down at some point, right? So that part of the dude's, Leibelsberger's manifesto there, that rings a little bit odd. However, look who's running the show right now. Look in my head, it's the traitors. It's the traitors that cooed the country here in 2020. So could the shit on the, is that it? Trump didn't seem too distressed, he's getting briefings. Is it our Iron Dome equivalent? These things go up there, and if anything moves through, like a drone, something can intercept it. Are we testing? It starts to when you think about things that go down tiny little rabbit holes, man. You watch a few things, it can become complicated, especially if you're not aware of other things. A lot of people, most people have part of the puzzle. Most people on this planet, 99 point, they operate with knowledge that's incomplete. I think there have been efforts to try to level up humanity's knowledge as far as who we are in this universe, right? Answering a lot of questions that we have answers to. Some people have answers to. I don't have the answers. Don't come looking for me. I got nothing. I'm giving you nothing except what I say here. It was the day after the election. The day after the election, Trump won. I'm feeling relieved. Maybe some adults are going to be in the room again, and they're going to take over, and we're going to be like real adults to the other people on the planet, right? Everybody else on the planet, we're going to be adults, and maybe just being adults will unfuck a lot of shit that's happened. And I made some video where I was post-election rant or something, and it's like I was worried, and this is before drones started showing up. This is before conversations about looking for lost nuclear material, conversations about a rogue nuke from Ukraine or somewhere. Like, we knew it was missing and it's headed to the U.S. Before all of that shit started coming out, before weird fog, before gravitic propulsion systems, before terror attacks, before everything, a day or two after the election, I talked how I was worried. Like I want to be optimistic. I want to be positive or hopeful. However, when in my thinking, when I go back and I look at my country, my government, really, it's not even, it's like a lot of the fuck ups, a lot of the shit is leadership and direction, and it's sometimes that comes from outside of government too. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. And the history, the track history. We were doing pretty good, right? We had ups and downs. There were people in let's say before Civil War, from the advent to the Civil War, we had some amazing things happen, right? But everybody in that time was just human as well. I feel like the quality that we've received, though, really after 1900. Let's go back there, because I mean, there were some shitty, like Andrew Johnson, right? There were some oddballs in this. We're all just, we're imperfect. We're striving every day, every year, every decade, every century for more perfection, more light, more goodness. But there have been a lot of dark, evil things that have happened since 1900. A lot of lies told to Americans, but I mean, like, every country, its leaders lie to them, right? If you're in whatever the country is, and all of a sudden your quality of life goes down and you can't feed your family and you're not sure about tomorrow, CIA knows at some point it's a tipping point and then a revolution can happen. CIA knows exactly where that is, right? It's been employing psychology and brutality and dirty tricks. Ukraine was a coup in 2014. They put in a goddamn comedian who played on TV, a comedian that became the president. And they fucking, how ironic. It's just, if you don't get it, if you can't see things, I don't know. We're doing horrible, shitty things. My intelligence agency, they're going to come in here and like, I'm just going to get dead one day. I just know it. Even I got nobody listening. Even though a clip might get 20 views over a year. You follow me? They're going to get me. I am too heretical in my thought. I cannot provide to you. I could probably point you to some sources like on the web. You know, I have no documents in my house. I've got no dots being connected on walls with yarn and push pins. There's nothing like that. All right, I got to drink some coffee. I gotta really lube these pipes. Oh, and I got this. My kids bought me electric conductive little coffee hot plate, digital. I asked them for it. Sometimes I don't feel good enough to use it. Is that horrible? I'm like, no, I'm a piece of shit. I'm just gonna drink cold coffee. It's horrible, man. It's always there. So like, yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't know why in these places, like these videos that I've seen of recent videos since I don't know, since they've been talking about the fog for about 5 days a week or so, whatever. Seeing all of these videos, and like this lady in Florida, she's sitting there, it's dry as fuck on the ground. There's huge particle matter in the light. She moves the light around and you see the particles coming down. It's not fog, dude. It's chemically induced. Somebody, I don't know why this hasn't happened, like, where's my Insta scientist out there taking samples and putting it into the mass spectrometer or spectrographer or whatever it is? You know, he whips out his tricorder and he's like, okay, it's barium, it's silver oxide, it's whatever the chemicals are that they've used to global dimming patents, out there on Google, do your search on global dimming. It's something like that. It's why is it happening? Okay, I can think of a couple of reasons why the fog is happening, because it's not natural. Okay, it's not natural. It seems to be, in my opinion, some sort of weather modification kind of process, right? It's either hostile or defensive. Okay, now let's talk about defensive, because that's nicer. And there's two that could be hostile. The defensive use is we're testing this to try to obscure, I don't know, from regular visual optics, drones or satellites or whatever, right? We're trying to cover up the stuff. It's like in World War II, at night, they would have blackouts. That way enemy bombers couldn't, in like UK, and in Europe, they couldn't see anything on the ground. It was a blackout. So maybe there's some effort on our government side to black out. Maybe it's actually countering hostile drones that are just happening. I don't know. Dude, you don't even need a goddamn Iranian mothership off the coast or whatever. The idea that there's a master drone that drops other drones, you don't have to get weird with it. It is what it is. We have technology. We have ships that, aircraft carriers fucking drop drones, right? Planes. So, but with the border being wide open and transit and stuff, and just availability, I mean, I don't know. So it could be our own government testing a defensive nature of fog, something on that way, and it's either just generalized, hey, we're doing it now, or it's being done in a response to something foreign that's coming in, right? That's all I can see for that, from a defensive nature. If the fog is somehow an offensive type system, that's like we're seeing dry run, drones come up and they cover an area and they just release mustard gas. Haha, that's the attack. That would be the attack later, hypothetical, hypothetical attack. Or they just come over and it's deadly pathogens. Haha. It's fucking the worst. It's Fauci times 10. It's little Satan out there putting bugs out, and it's aerosolized and it's up, and you're out there breathing the fucking fog. Okay, so that could be one kind of version, and I'm thinking it's a foreign government, right? A foreign agent that would do that. They would get close to wherever they want to go to attack us if they were to do it here. This is going to happen, right? You cannot tell me I'm thinking of this and nobody and no other foreign government. We're not trying to weaponize this shit ourselves. We don't have weird chembots and biobots, biodrones. We don't. I can imagine it, so therefore we do. You follow me? We're seeing signs. So the hostile nature of the fog could be a foreign government, or the really weird shit where it just starts to make my skin crawl is that it would be our own government. Sellouts within our own government. Not everybody. There's millions. The U.S. government is the biggest employer in the world. Okay? U.S. government, biggest employer in the world. Single largest government employer, single largest private employer. It's the biggest of all of them. Okay? So when you say government, it doesn't get all weird and everything and flat Earth and reptoids, and we'll talk about the reptoids later. Listen, people. It's a few people that have sold out or that have been corrupted, that have been honeypotted. Do you understand? That have been they think they're doing the right thing. Right? When we talk about like people in good government, it's a small subset of traitorous, treasonous, villainous, evil motherfuckers. All right, it's a few of the scatter some Darth Cheneys around our thing, a Bush or two, this moneyed family, this powered, power broker. it's a small amount of people, with regards to the country. So it could be elements within the government that have sold out that are like, yeah, we're working with China. We're working with an outside entity, and we're going to let this happen. We're going to look, Darth Cheney is going to issue the stand down on 9/11. Darth Cheney issuing stand down orders. He said, you're the VP. What the fuck are you doing? Building 7. Nothing touched it. Just falls in its own footprint. It's all magical, everybody. It's all fucking, after 9/11, 2 days later, I'm mad. I want blood. I'm an American. I am hurt. I am being traumatized 24/7. I am smoking so much weed. California, in Kamala's California. I am like Y2K. We survived that shit, but now here we go. And Bush is standing on the rubble of 9/11, and it's like a day later or 2 days later, and he's like, we heard them, but they're all going to hear us. Get choked up. They're going to, those kind of events, they involve like mass trauma, right? They're mass trauma events, psychic trauma. That one, man, 24/7 until we started bombing another country, right? And 15 of the 19 hijackers were from Saudi Arabia, and then we pivot to Iraq. What? Hi, what? Somehow magically weapons of mass destruction that never happened. What? Building 7 fell down. What? There's fucking dripping thermite, puddles of liquid metal. What? Building designed to withstand everything. What? All the engineers and structural engineers around the world coming out and saying, what? Anyway, the thing that really set me off was when Bush got up there and he's like, they're all going to hear us. And I'm like, fuck yeah, they are. They're all going to hear us. We're going to bomb the shit out of whoever comes out. 15 Saudi Arabia. Let's go. No. The relationship between the Bushes and the Saudi family is so tight. That shit ain't going to happen. We're going to go and take one of our puppets, one of our CIA puppets in the Middle East, Saddam. And we're going to go base that shit for 20 years. And we're going to blow up a lot of people. Pink mist everywhere. Civilian, military, us, them. Pink mist. DU, right? Depleted uranium shit. Testing new systems. Fuck, CIA rolling in doing all kinds of sick, dirty shit. Where are we going with this? So Bush, the thing was like, it's Bush. He's up there. He's like, they're all going to hear us. Fuck yeah, they are. And don't let anybody talk about a conspiracy. And then I'm like, what? Motherfucker's up there on the rubble. And then he has the audacity to talk about conspiracy. And me and a whole bunch of other people are like, eh? And now we're looking and we're seeing shit, and shit's not adding up. And why don't I have the detailed footage of why of the Pentagon? They showed me that came out recently, 10, 20 years later, and showed me 3 more frames or some bullshit. The Pentagon is the most surveilled building on the fucking planet, and we don't have 6 different angles at high def. Do you understand? Why was that never released? Fuck you, it was a plane. I've heard people that I kind of trust, I want to trust, say, it was definitely a plane. Show us the goddamn videos. Holy fuck, that's all it would take to solve that little piece of the this shit don't smell right puzzle. But no. You don't show us that. You hide and you do more shit, and we go into more wars. And then you put fucking Obama, your little CIA puppet tool, in office, and what happens? They give him the Peace Prize. Oh shit, he just got into office and he gets some weird fucking preemptive Peace Prize right before going into more countries than any motherfucking president ever and starting to blow shit up. Oh shit! What is going on? And he's the first black president. We're gonna solve everything in America. We're post-racial America now. Obama! What did that asshole do? Did he undo the goddamn Biden Clinton crime bill? 3 strikes, you're out. You hold a little bit of crack cocaine, you go to jail 5 years, Biden said. Minimum. No, the prosecutor's hands are tied. And then that motherfucker lets his crackhead son go with a pardon for 10 years? Ah! I'm going to lose my fucking mind, okay? Now, am I radicalized? I'm just American, dude. And am I going to go do something violent? No. In my head, I got to talk about this, and it makes me mad. And at some point, like I'm going to say this right before I go to sleep, okay? When I'm sitting here in this blissful, like almost, and it's like an alpha state, right? I'm just so ready. I'm ready to doze off, and I'm in this most peaceful, serene moment. That's when I want to go fucking most ape shit on these motherfuckers and just send out the beekeepers. Send out the beekeepers. Did you see the movie with Jason Statham? Oh my God, that is the hottest shit. That is the hottest shit to think about in America, if it's done only in these very limited moments of distress, when the Union is going down, when the Republic is, and so those thoughts only happen when I'm right before sleep. Night night. Good night, children. Sweet dreams. That's the only time. Other than that, my waking time, when I get up and I go, I'm not stacking and plotting, and I'm just an old dude that games. That's all, man. That's it. I'm a bad Freemason. Some people know. Does it affect how I look at the world? I gotta tell you, if I'm gonna be honest with all of you, a little bit. It does. Is it weird that I'm streaming like this? Yes. I'm not gonna show who I am. I showed actually some of my PlayStation friends. They know. I had clips that they saw me. I let people. I didn't give a fuck. That was before I got a little political. Before I put up a clip of Biden getting yelled at by little children and an adult and shit, and it got it went a little viral. And like the whole point of this was not to do this, with the channel. It's just to be on games and put up some stuff. And I talk a little bit sometimes during them, and I like to think one day, maybe like a grandkid I never got to know, because I started a family late, they'll be able to watch something and go, wow, fucking granddad, go granddad, go, in games. And that's it, really. And then I would put up a clip. I played a game. I had a little fun. We beat the enemy. I helped a little bit, and I played music. I copyright violated. So we're not trying to get likes and views. We're not ever getting paid from this shit. This is just because I can. Hobby, right? I'm not like other YouTube. This is not a real channel. It got elevated because of, I don't know, my views. I started putting up stuff. So our own government, going back to the drones and like the other hostile, our own government could be behind it. Certain elements, certain people in key positions standing down, looking the other way. How the fuck? You can't tell me. Okay, I'm just going to say it. You cannot tell me our government had no part. We're going to Epstein. We're going straight to Epstein Island, man. Come with me to Epstein Island. You cannot tell me that my government, and by government, whoever, people, how many people were in the operation to look the other way while Mossad apparently went in and killed him? Are we all adults here? Are we all talking the same shit? Epstein didn't kill himself. He didn't fucking hang himself. The cameras didn't. During this whole episode, it's like a thriller. It's like Jason Bourne. It's like, I don't know, pick your spy kink. Pick your spy kink, and that's what we had there. Cameras going off. So the idea that even today that you can't have conspiracies going on within government. How many people within our government looked the other way while the cameras were done? The guards were sent away. Do you know what I mean? They're federal workers in prisons, I believe, right? And it probably came on high from some intel. We probably had a little intel agitation going on there, demanding it, right, as a favor to our Mossad intel buddies in mid. Right. Come on. And then on the cover up afterwards, you have to have people in there. So is it a dozen, 2 dozen, 100 people on the op? You know? So could people within our government look the other way while foreign entities let attacks happen? I think so. I think it's happened before. I think on 9/11 it happened. So there's a small chance that disclosure will happen this year. I'll throw that out. A small chance that'll happen. However, we may blow ourselves the fuck before that happens. So we're in World War III, right? You know that. Not due. We are in the third phase of the of this, and it's technically been going on since 2020. There we go. Two sips of coffee in 30 minutes. Perfect, 30 minutes. The shit that was on, if you haven't seen it, you need to go out and look up Leibelsberger, email Leibelsberger manifesto, whatever. It's still on YouTube. They're talking about it all over YouTube, right? Lots of channels. I have not checked this morning to see what happened overnight. What odd new shit. Don't breathe the fog. I don't know what to say. If you like to exercise and do stuff, you need to be indoors. I just don't know what to say. People, it's, if they admit, if our government admits that they were doing it and people get sick, then there's liability. It's the same thing with like chem trails, with aerosolized spraying, patents for global dimming, for increasing precipitation, whatever. If they admitted it, then somebody out there with asthma, somebody out there that got, a buildup of some chemicals in them, something is going to, there'll be a liability. They're never going to fucking admit it. They're never going to. If we can't get the goddamn Kennedy files declassified, are we going on 80 years later, dude? You know what I mean? 60, I don't know, 70, 80, 90, 20, 20, 50 years later, 60 years later, we can't get the shit declassified. Not all of it. Why? These are the reasons, the stuff I'm talking about, like, why they don't want Trump in there, because presidents have unconditional declassification power. They can declassify anything they want to for any reason at any time, which was why I was a little disappointed when my man Trump got in, and he didn't do it all. He left some. He respected the system. I don't know. Did they threaten him real hard? I have no idea why the fuck he didn't do it. I don't believe that he's a tool, that he's in there with all the elites and the buddy and he's doing this shit. I don't believe that for a minute, dude. Not at all. He's a goddamn he's the head of the revolution, okay? It's a revolution. It's a pure 1776. I'm a bad Freemason, but I'm not connected with anybody or anything. I'm just a solo. Just like I play in Elder Scrolls, I'm a solo. Not a lone wolf. Just a solo. I'm a solo, non-violent solo, big mouth solo. And we can't get that stuff done. And he tried, but he's got the due date coming up, right? Where he can do these things. He can absolutely do these things. I'm going to mute it for 1 second, please. So, I guess I'm rambling here a bit, aren't I? It's okay. After the election, I did a video where I said I was worried, right? I was worried. I couldn't relax because my government, and it was before all the weird hinky shit's going on. Terrorism, fog, drones, aliens, whatever. And I was worried about what my government would do in response, okay? Because if follow me here, just follow me. I know a lot of you, as soon as you say anything positive Trump, they tune out. They're like, orange man, bad, and the derangement syndrome. I got to tell you, if you have stage 4 terminal Trump derangement syndrome, honestly, you should go to the local euthanasia center and have a discussion. Maybe this is right for you. I don't know. But what would my government do to stop Trump getting back in? Because they kind of saw, here we have a person who won't play ball with old power, right? When the Bushes and the Clintons hate him, you're onto something there, because nobody likes any of them. I can't like any of the Bushes. I don't give a fuck about them. No more Bushes, no more Clintons, no more Obamas. Something new is happening here. Everybody, something new is happening. We're breaking out of the programming. We're breaking out of the routine. And they don't control how we communicate anymore in a mass fashion. You understand? They tried. They when the left had charge of Twitter, how much power grab did they do? How evil were they? How hard did they violate the First Amendment? They silenced the president. Oh shit. First they silenced Alex Jones for just talking. Any motherfucker can just talk and say whatever you want. You know, I don't know about that school that they sued him over. There were aspects of that school shooting that looked super fucking hinky to me. I'm not going to say how many people died, if they died, etc. I'm just saying a lot of the things that get presented to us are fishy as fuck. And later on we know they are. And our government hides it. By government we mean certain people, right? Small amounts. It doesn't take many players to hide shit. So what would my government do to stop Trump? What would my government do to prevent disclosure of something that might disrupt the status quo, that may, what if disclosure, declassification, disrupted businesses? What if it put some industries out of business, but others would replace them? Would there be this chaos, this turmoil? Could it be an opportunity for foreign governments to, I don't know, but I feel like that's what they're using as a lot of reasoning not to let us know about who we are in this universe, what's really happening, and then the weird dirty shit that goes on in our name, man. So would my government blow up a building to take out a few people? Would they blow up a plane to get that guy on the plane? I believe they would. I believe that's happened. That the mental calculus by some of the people in government, in decision-making spots, like, yeah. Remember Madeleine Albright, that old fucking hag? You remember her? She was was she the Department of Defense? She was some bigwig in the Bush administration with the Iraq War, right? She was in charge. Madeleine Albright, Foreign Secretary. I don't fuck. Secretary of State. Some cunt. Some warmongering, filthy cunt. Madeleine Albright. I said it. I'm a bad Freemason. And they asked her. She's like on an interview. Was it 60 Minutes? And the journalist, I think it was a lady journalist, is like, they say that during the Iraq War and aftermath that 500,000 Iraqi children died in direct kinetic actions, in starvation and disease afterwards. Probably all the horrible shit that happens in a country. Kids are the most vulnerable populations, right? They get abused and in horrible things, man. Horrible things. Kids out there being sex workers before they're pubescent, man. It's horrible. It's horrible. So they asked Madeleine Albright, do you think 500,000 dead Iraqi children was a price worth paying so that we could get that stability in the Middle East, or however they framed it? Do you think that after where we're at now, it was worth 500,000 Iraqi dead children? And the cunt said yes, she thought it was worth it. Dude, I am not for violence for anybody. But in my little fantasy realm, in the simulation that exists in my head, that woman is in a communist prison up against a wall. You know what I mean? In the courtyard, and her executioner has the one bullet. That's how she goes out. It's just simple in my head. The math is simple. You think 500,000 children is a price worth paying. You can't go, no, it's not. That is a horrible price. What we're doing is wrong. How we're going about our accomplishing whatever our goals are, our war goals are, is wrong. We shouldn't have done that. That price isn't worth paying. There's no empathy. There's no conscience there anymore. You are fucking dead inside. You are so dead inside. And if you're dead inside, dude, we might as well, society might as well make the outside, match the in. It hurts my soul when I stop and I think about things like that. And these are the people. That's just one dirty old cunt, man. She's in there with a bunch of warmongering dicks. Dicks and cunts running the country into the ground. Dicks and cunts. Now I know I'm not saying all military is bad and all wars and we should never step up and try to help anybody else. I'm not saying that. We're not the fucking world policeman. That's not in the Constitution. Let's take that attitude away right now. Right now. We are not the goddamn world's policeman. Fuck you. Show me in the Constitution, show me in any law that's been passed, by both houses, signed by the president, where we're the world's policeman. Fuck you. That whole concept and identity for America is gone. We are not the world's policeman. We are a power on the planet, on this world. What are we going to do with it? How do we dispense with our power? And like war, I don't know. My attitudes on war, I've changed here in the last maybe 3 months, thinking about war. Like the Geneva Convention and all that shit. Fuck all that shit. Chemical weapons, it doesn't matter. If you're going to blow somebody up and pink miss them with just a 1,000-pound bomb, okay? 500-pound bomb. You're going to pink miss them with that. Somehow that's less cruel than dropping a nuke. Less cruel than stabbing them with a triangle blade, right? Remember World War I? After that, you couldn't use triangle blades because they put such a big puncture wound in, right? The wound wouldn't close. If you have a flat blade, like a flat bayonet, even serrated, right? That's okay. But the triangle blade, we're offended by that triangle blade. We're offended by the gas. But you can pink miss them. You could blow them. You know what I mean? So in my head, and how we treat prisoners of war, no, they're all dead. We could kill you any way we want to, and we could do anything we want to because this is war. And war is fucked up. I think that here's my thinking, and this is the reason why I think we should all think like this. We all are fucking war. The whole idea of war is gone. Everything we put in the past, these safeguards, I think that let me calm down. I'm very passionate about this. I think that the safeguards that we put in place, like the Geneva Convention rules, and we can't use it, makes us more likely to want to go to war. The safeguards we put in place make us more easy to go to war. Do you understand? It's like a fucking boxing match. You can do this. Oh, you can't hit below the belts. No below the belts. You can fuck him up in the head over and over until he's got a concussion, until his brain is bleeding. You could do that over and over, but you can't hit him below the belt. Fisticuffs. So this whole attitude of how we do war, I think everybody on the planet needs to be scared as fuck about war, because it's going to be horrible. It's no holds barred. It's war. And your tribe might be 100% down, 100% decimated. 0 survivors. Think hard before you start a war. Think hard before you go to war. Because the spoils, the results, I can't think of the word. The consequences might be entirely 100% loss. So if everybody had that attitude, I think, would there still be war? Fuck yeah, dude. We can't stop that. We're not gonna, not right now. You know, there's wars between primarily countries, but it's always been tribes. And then I feel like in America, man, we're in a war right now. We're in a civil war, but it's like a battle for ideology, a battle for ideas, sort of, you know. And there's been a lot of fucking physical battling going on, mostly by people of leftist attitudes, dude. I saw for 8 years, man, early on, people with Trump hats getting beaten, hit, chased down, thugged, stolen, you know what I mean, assaulted, all kinds of things. There was a website that had like 600 documented assaults on people that were, it was coming from the left. If this Leibelsberger person, we don't know exactly what his deal was, but Leibelsberger's girlfriend, I saw the video yesterday, Leibelsberger's girlfriend totally hating Trump. Rabid anti-Trumper. That motherfucker is setting off a bomb, some sort of odd bomb in front of, you know, it's odd. All the violence appears to be, how many times was Joe attempted assassinated? How many times was Obama attempted assassinated? How many times was Clinton attempted? You know what I mean? The right is not doing political violence. Steve Scalise, Rand Paul, both attacked by crazy leftists, okay? The political violence, and then you have 2 years of like Maxine Waters. When you see them, get in their face, tell them you're not welcome here. Motherfucking cunt-ass Maxine Waters inciting violence, flaming up the troops. The violent, angry rhetoric is coming out of one side, which is why, to be honest, so many people left the Democrat Party, because they don't want to be part of the violence. Do you get me? That I think in American history, there's been a few times, like we used to have a Whig party, WHIG, right? The Whigs, fucking, they're not around anymore. I got a feeling the current Democrat Party may be on that path. No joke. History may be altering our politics a bit, because unless they can clean their fucking house, and I mean, like, it's gonna be some hard work, because the people left over there are all fucking, I don't know, they all look a certain way. They're all screaming about certain things. And you've got fucking jihadists, radical fucking abortionists, radical fucking transgenderists. It's they all demand crazy. Everybody over there is demanding, I want to be able to abort my baby. I want to look at it and then make a decision. I don't like your face. Hand it over to the doctor. Run it down the garbage disposal. Fuck you. You're not allowed to do that. When we came up with Roe v. Wade, do you know what the technology was? Did we have barely sonograms at the time? We didn't know. We didn't, dude. Just saying, man. I had a sonogram. My kids, we went to the place. Like, you go get the little vanity sonogram, and they play music, and you get a CD, and you can bring it home. And you know what I mean? That was a thing at the time. It was kind of new. And I look at that, and it was, I don't know, 4 months. And everything was there. Everything was there. I saw my little tadpole baby, and I loved it, Anyway, it's a hard choice, right? It's a hard thing. So 2020, before Trump took office, they tried to push the Wuhan scare, right? And now, right before this, we have bird flu scare out of California. Another Fauci fucking tell me he was doing gain of function on bird flu. Everybody, tell me. I haven't looked it up, but I'm gonna guarantee gain of function. Gain of function. In my sleepy time. Remember, I was talking about that little moment, my sleepy time, right before I go to bed. Fauci's there. Fauci's there. Oh, he's there. He's there with me every night before I go to sleep. And it's glorious. It's glorious. So I see shades of that. I see shades of that bullshit. Now, they tried that prior to the election, remember. So that was why they could get away with all of the lies and the shenanigans, and they stole the election. Stole the fucking election because of the Fauci flu. They're trying to do something now, but the election's already done, right? Trump is going to be sentenced on the 10th, January 10th. That just came out. Trump is getting sentenced by Judge Juan Merchan on the 10th, right? He can do it virtually, like over Zoom meeting or whatever, which means he's not going to say he is jail time. He's not going to sentence him to jail time. But I think by sentencing him formally, see, right now Trump is not convicted. He's not a convicted felon. You can't say he's a felon. He has been indicted. A jury has found him guilty, but in New York, the process has to be the judge has to assign a sentence, and then it's official, right? So I see one of two things here. Okay, this could be a little puffery on the Trump side, where they're like, "I'm a victim. But they want this to happen because if it didn't happen, then that would mean it could happen. It's going to be hanging over the presidency. Like, they could delay it, and then for 4 years while he's the president, nothing happens. But as soon as he's done being president, then they can do it, and they can sentence him, right? So that's kind of a bad thing, I think, overall. So Trump being sentenced right now clears that, it finishes the process, right? And the only matter will be what the result is from it. And I got a feeling they're just going to do it with no time served. I don't know, sentence commuted, something like that. But it's still going to be technically he's a felon on all these bullshit felonies. And I personally don't care. I revel. I want everybody out there. Yeah, my president's a felon, bitch. He's hardcore. All the rappers, dude, 34 indictments. You are putting him into the culture, into a, like it or not, we got a kind of a fucking thug kind of culture, right? The people that care about morality and stuff, they know it's bullshit, so they discount it. It's a badge of honor, dude. It's a badge of honor that they would go to these lengths to try to keep him out of power. Do you understand? And then all I got to say is, like, Obama got into office, he didn't undo the crime bill. Who undid the crime bill? Who had Dr. Alveda King in the White House praising him? Trump. How can he be a racist when a descendant of Martin Luther King is in there praising him? How can you call him a racist? The whole story don't make sense. It's why so many black people woke up this election cycle, dude. It's been 8 years of black people waking up, and then when the first time Trump gets into office, he undoes the Clinton-Biden crime bill, which disproportionately targeted BIPOCs, right? It disproportionately targeted black and Hispanic people for simple drug possessions. Obama had the power. 8 years he could have undone that shit, and he didn't. He fucking didn't. Trump did. Tell me he's a racist. Motherfuckers. You're just being... It was like Operation Mockingbird just kept the media spinning lie after lie after lie, repeat the lie. Everybody says the same fucking lie over and over and over. And then when you catch the government doing it once, when you catch your media doing that once, you're like, huh, that's odd. And you give them a pass. But when they do it every fucking day, everybody doesn't trust the media anymore. I'm being lied to. I'm being lied to. I disagree with that. This is really how it's going in my head. I'm being lied to. So everybody fucking walks away. The media used to be, everybody sat down and watched Milton Berle, the Milton Berle show. That was before my time. I've been going back and watching some early TV on Amazon. And it's interesting just to see how bad it was, or the camera, like grainy, and the techniques they use and stuff. Just interesting. But the point was, we had this shared experience. Everybody read Time magazine. Everybody read the New York Times. Everybody, and that's how we got our information, and it was a big shared experience. Now, dude. Dude, and remember, TV used to go off at night. I remember that. I'm old enough, I'll say this. When I was young, and it stopped when I was a teen, but when I was young, TV would stop showing at night, man. 2 a.m. or whatever. Test pattern. You turn on the TV, you're getting a test pattern, okay? So, there were 3 channels. Then they added 4. Right? And then we had the option to get local channels, which filled up the, from 9 down or whatever, 9 to 13. And then there was like some UHF. Don't even ask me, man. Don't even ask me. And in the 80s, we got cable. We paid for cable, and there was no commercials. And we were told, if you pay for TV, there won't be any commercials. And now we pay for TV, but we get commercials. What? You got to pay more to not get commercials. So I guess my point is, where we had these very few outlets, very few nodes to go get information. Now we have all of the network channels, and then we have all of the cable, right? Which turned into platforms, which turned into, on each platform, you have creators and the, Fox is on this one and this one and this one. NBC's on this one and this one and this one. But then you also have independent startups, and the Gary Franchi from the Next News Network, right? He's an old school, I can kind of consider like an old school news YouTuber, right? Putting out things there for a long time, with some background actually in news and stuff, going into, I think he worked for CNN or something. But the point is, now, dude, there is so much stuff. Somebody out there is listening to me, right? For one person, right, is gonna sit there and get some news or info from this. When I posted the Biden video, people saying fuck Joe Biden and little girls singing it and stuff, and then I remixed it. I put the Love Boat theme behind it and showed Trump arriving and getting praised and stuff. Like, I got 1.5 million views off that, and I don't care about views. I thought it was very odd that my little stupid nothing was becoming this hub, right, for information. And I read every single goddamn comment that anybody posted on any video ever. I erased a lot of them, and I blocked a lot of people. It's shameful, Roswell, but it's my little fucking, if they could block the president, I can block some asshole calling me a name or whatever, right? Fuck them. Fuck them. That's my prerogative. So people were messaging me, and they said, how come I don't see this on news, Roswell? How come I'm not seeing this on like anything? You get me? And all it was these people, and it was legitimate, man. And he comes out and he's waving, and it's awkward. You can tell that the soundtrack is real. YouTube labeled it as deep fake or altered. They labeled the raw video as altered, which it wasn't. And how you know is I think I was one of the first people that got that. I might have been the one that got that they did that for. I don't know. I don't want to think I'm that important, because all I did was take some shit and go, here, look. And they didn't block me. They didn't take it down. But you could tell that the people around Biden, the girl that was with him and the guard, they looked embarrassed. They know that they're sitting there, and their boss, their grandpa, whoever that girl was, they're saying, fuck Joe Biden. Fuck you! Fuck! The one dude was so mad, and you heard little girls screaming it too. Maybe 10 people. You don't see them. They're recording it with it's I got people from Europe, people from America going, why am I seeing this here? Why aren't I watching this on any news outlet? Nobody on media is covering it. All of a sudden, for 30 seconds, you know what I mean, for a hot minute during this last summer, I'm a news outlet. You get me? For a few clips. That was it. I don't want to do this. I don't want this to be the a job or a thing. I can talk about things, but I don't want to be a content provider. Put this stuff up there. The point is, we all had a bigger shared experience. Now motherfuckers are coming to me every once in a while, right? And the way that news and the way that information is distributed is fractured, and it's there's a myriad of ways, right? And people are not on the same shared experience anymore. A lot of us are. You could say that, like, an example, the Benny Show, right? That's a very polished insider kind of, it's almost a network because of the contacts and stuff, sort of. It feels, he's got production crew, I'm sure, right? Editing and doing all these things. But that's a real good example of a shared experience, because a lot of people do go there. CNN, not so much. There's, I got a feeling like the people that primarily leftist in attitude, right? MSNBC, all of that fear porn and lame porn and CNN and, Mockingbird kind of trad media, that they're still there. They're having their shared experience, I suppose, but a lot of them are just getting stuff from off TikTok. They're getting their news off TikTok. So I guess the bigger point of all of that is that the old power that used to control us via the shared experience, via the narrative, via the don't question this, you know what I mean, is gone. As soon as Bush on 9/11 said, don't let them talk about conspiracies, everybody's like, what? Right? And we all start looking. And we all start talking about it on independent media and means. So I don't know if my government is willing to take out a building, take out a plane, if my government is willing to silence somebody, right? Or if they're willing to, Darth Cheney, issues the stand down order on 9/11. Don't shoot, just don't shoot them. Let it, weird things happening like this. If the goal is to get us to go to war and then blow up Iraq, then take control of Iraq, and you know what I mean? Like, I feel like my government would do that. Not everybody within government. Remember, doesn't take very many people, apparently, in the American government to co-opt it, corrupt it, to do things that aren't constitutional. Let's just say going to war, dude. The act of going to war used to require going to Congress. Not just, I'm the president and we can do limited kinetic whatever. We haven't declared war since World War II. How much fighting, how many lives have been lost? How many American soldiers' lives have been lost since World War II. And a war has never been declared on any of them. So things like that. And then right now, would the government do something before Trump gets into office that kind of puts us on a track, down a path towards probably war, you know? Would they do something? Would they false flag us? Would they then try to crank up whatever media assets they have to put out the lie and hope we don't notice? Maybe. The thing that scared the fuck out of me, and I was worried about after, this is really a long, a lot of tangents, but after the election, I started worrying, would my government do this? Would they do that? Would my government blow up a block to prevent Trump from taking office, to prevent him from making, declassifying documents, from exposing people, from putting old hardcore corrupt government players, in the spotlight, and then they get to face justice, real fucking justice, not all these court cases against Trump. They all get dropped, and they're scrambling, and they're being so creative in how they do take federal statutes or state statutes and make them federal, and you know what I mean, weird bullshit that's never been done before. We know they're doing that. Would my government blow up a city? Not everybody in the government. Most people, probably 99% would be horrified, right, of the mere prospect of blowing up a building or taking down a plane to get somebody, right? 80 other people died, but we got them. So would they take out a city? I kind of think that the same, like if we're talking about the Madeleine Albright, she thinks killing 500,000 Iraqi children was a price worth paying. You can't begin to tell me that my government wouldn't take out a city to stop somebody from taking power, taking their power. They think it's their power, but really it's our power. And all that's happening is we are taking it back. The people that have been the stewards of the government for so long have this perverse notion of what it is to be there. They don't think of themselves as servants. They think of themselves as a ruling class. And they look upon us with disdain. They look upon us like we're fucking sheep. Like our body is not our choice. You have to take this shot. That's how they look at us. We are cattle to be fed antibiotics and shitty foods that maximize micro pennies of profit for corporations. You understand, like, the fascisms that we are under as an American, as an average American, are massive right now. And when I say fascisms, I'm not talking about Hitler hating Jews and etc. And I'm talking about traditional, real fascism. The definition of fascism. Listen up. I made this up. It's a great definition. It's very brief. But it's to the point. And I think it expresses my sentiment perfectly. Fascism is when government and industry get together to fuck us. Okay? That's fascism, right? It's not when government and industry get together to do something better for humanity, right? That's we're kind of okay with that. It's when they get together and they fuck us. Now, the example would be, let's just throw out medical fascism here. We know what I'm talking about. We know exactly what I'm talking about. But why is it fascism, Roswell? It's because I think it was in the 80s or the 90s, sometime in this time frame, after I'd gotten all my vaccines as a kid, my government, meaning Congress and the president signed it, gave the pharmaceutical industry and companies that didn't even exist, that would be born, would benefit. They said a certain class of their products, vaccines, were immune from litigation because they're that important. It's that important. It's so super duper important that we protect these guys because they make this, and it saves everybody. Okay. Well, guess what happened? If we go back wherever on the timeline it is when that law was passed, and I should know this because I'm talking about it, but I know it's there, and you go look it up, it's there. From that point forward in the timeline, guess what happened? The amount of vaccines that became mandatory for my children, did it double? I'm pretty sure it fucking doubled. And the amount of vaccines created to solve all kinds of problems, quote, problems, just exploded out the yang. And then now, before that law and today, if you take a heart pill and you stroke out, you can sue the motherfucking company. You take a boner pill, you have an erection that lasts longer, the painful erection that lasts longer than 4 hours, you've got remedy. You go get a flu shot. Catastrophe happens. I don't know. Flu shot's pretty fucking safe. You go get some new restless leg syndrome. I don't know what the fuck. And something happens, you're shit out of luck. Fascism, when government and industry get together to fuck us. You hear me, boy? You hear me, girl? Fascism. Can I talk about another fascism? Do I have time? Nobody's watching. I can talk about this forever, so it's okay. Fascism. What's another fascism? Military-industrial fascism. Dwight Eisenhower warned us about it, right? Before he left, he said undue influence of lobbying from the military-industrial complex. Dwight Eisenhower was a general. He served. He understood what it meant to be in war, and how precious human life is. How hard it is to send boys to go die. And he warned us about it. And what's happened since then? Exactly what he said. We have not declared war one time. Everything we've done has been against in direct opposition to our Constitution. Illegal. None of it should have happened. Yet there it goes. How many men and women have died in service since World War II ended? In illegal things. That's fascism right there. Our government getting together with the lobbyists. If we want to talk about Intel fascism, if we want to talk about big tech / Intel fascism, you got big tech out there that they received their fascist nod from the government was Section 230, where the fledgling internet companies, Facebook and Yahoo, right, and all these other things that would be platforms, Twitter originally would not curate their content. Hi, YouTube. They would not curate their content. And what are they all fucking doing? They're deleting Jones, deleting the president, curating content. You're unpersoned. You said something we don't like. Horrible shit, dude. How are they get away with it because of Section 230? The equivalent would be if, like, I had a conversation with you on the phone and I call you up and I say, hey man, let's talk. And we talk about whatever. And at the end of the call, they say, I'm sorry, you two can't use the phone anymore. We don't like what you said. It can't happen the way. Newspapers, magazines, they all have ads you can take out and letters to the editor, and newspaper people write opinion pieces and things. And it would be like if the government said, I'm sorry, you can't write that editorial. We don't like what you said. We got to shut the newspaper down. So fascism is going on with tech and how we communicate, right? And it's affected a lot of things in current history. If we want to talk about big food fascism, I don't know, the government, we just let shitty ingredients be legal in our country, where they say they cause cancer in other countries. Gummy bears, or, you know, they don't have the dyes, they have natural things. I don't know. Things that make us sick, the food additives, the fake sugars, the thickeners, the stabilizers. You know what I mean? When you look at the back of we take two products, one that's sold in America, one that's sold in Europe, right? And in Europe, although there's a lot of stuff in Europe I don't like, I will embrace the fuck out of this. They will make the food differently in Europe sometimes to avoid having to put the "this is poison" label on the food, right? So if you look at the American version of whatever it is that sits on the shelf, it looks like a chemistry set. It reads like a chemistry set. The European one, it's all words you understand. They all sound like food, right? You know, nothing wrong with citric acid. There's nothing wrong with things that sound a little chemically, but the idea that Maha making us healthy again with the good ingredients, I'm all for that too. So I've just laid out medical, military, tech for communication, and food. 4 different fascisms straight out there, citing the reasons why it's fascism. But everybody out there, these retards, are punch a Nazi, Trump's a Nazi, punch a fascist. And you don't get it. You're missing the entire point that trying to take down the fascisms is what he's doing. The response from government is to flail, is to like a dying animal. It wants to keep control of this power because it knows the time is short. It knows the time is short. And dude, I'm nervous as fuck that something is going to happen and they're going to try to redirect us. Do you follow me? Another big mass trauma thing, something horrible. Like, my thinking was, they take a nuke and they blow up the inauguration. They take a nuke and they, I don't know, this is never going to be able to be seen. They do something and they blow up a city block where Trump was speaking. Do you follow me? And then they say this was Russia or Iran, and then we all get mad, and enough of us get mad enough because we loved, what was happening, and then we all go to fucking war. Do you understand? Like, that's when I get the brass fucking tacks, it's fear of them launching a nuke. Detonating a nuke, not launching it. And then immediately after that video, within a couple of weeks, they started talking about missing nuclear material, rumors of that, and sniffing it out, and that's what the drones are. And then we're getting fog, and I don't know. It's the terror attacks are starting. There are too many ways that it's kind of like plausible deniability. We've opened up the fucking border. My government. Terrorists. I was watching Tucker yesterday, and he was talking to a CIA guy, okay? Tucker. Interview with some CIA dude from 2 days ago. And he was saying, like, terrorists hardcore terror people, right? People that try to infiltrate a country and enact terrorist acts. We used to call those people partisans. Partisan. They would, stay behind, and like when the Nazis took over France, World War II, you had stay behind partisan who would try to poison, cut off supply lines, disrupt things. They would try to do actions that would make it worse for the occupiers, right? And the we used to call it partisan, but the terrorists now, the CIA guy had opportunity to speak with them, and like the one thing that most of the terrorists said, that was the hardest part of their terrorist job, right? You're a terrorist and you want to go and act terror. What's the hardest part of your job? And the hardest part of their job was to get into a country via airports or docks, to come in through formal channels, to get through customs. That was their hardest challenge. And what the fuck did my country do here for 4 years? Is effectively, we still had patrolling going on, we still have the stuff, but like stand downs, catch and release kind of shit, dude. I can't even tell you. We caught 200 on the terror watch list, but then we had like 2 million getaways, 2 million gotaways. What percentage of those are hardcore terrorists? How many of them did we just make their hardest part of their job a cakewalk? And now we have people in our country here from other places, and some of them are really, really bad people. And I'm talking, I don't even care about the fucking gangbangers at this point. I don't care about the dude that was a murderer in the other country. Like, he may come here and just be a badass and pop off, and you look at him wrong, and but he's not trying to kill mass casualties. He's not trying to mass poison. He's not trying to terrorize. You know what I mean? It's just a fucking another murderer in my country, right? We got a lot here already, apparently. So, yeah. So, we've opened up the border. We've let terror cells come in. We've got that. I don't know what to say. I think in every day now is like holding my breath. Every day I've got this feeling that I gotta hold my breath and waiting for the other shoe to drop. Because would my government blow up a building? Yes. Would they take out a plane? Would they take out a block? Would they take out a city? Part of a city? Maybe. I don't feel better. Normally at this point, when I get to the end and I've said my piece, I feel like I got to vent and get it out. I don't feel good right now. No wonder, Roswell. The shit that goes on in your head. I'm not going to breathe the fog. It's not happening out in Colorado, as far as I can tell. We get foggy. Some fog is super normal. I don't know. I hope you stay safe. If I were you, I'd put something. I'd just go to the grocery store and spend an extra $20-50 on food. I'm not kidding. It, like, non-perishable stuff you can have on the shelf for 6 months, right? It cannot hurt you. It can't hurt you. Don't go nuts. And honestly, you can't really buy much, right? But I think most people are oversold on that. If there's going to be some sort of catastrophe or something, a week, you kind of got to make it for a week. In my head, I'm thinking that's it, but I don't know. We're going to be fine. We're not in war. It's not going to go from the 4 years of pretty nasty Cold War to super hot war here with China this year. I don't think. All right. I got to go. Roswell out.